got to get this off my chest, all right? I've been propagating for a long time that they should get rid of Kyle Juszczyk. And a lot of people, and it's fair, have written to me on comments and on Twitter saying, you just want to get rid of him because you don't like him. Obviously. So, and that's a fair comment. So,
right. Because we don't like him.
Oh, and this is about journalism. So let me try to explain. I really don't like Kyle Juszczyk. I believe, I don't want to get into the whole thing again. I believe till the day he dies, he owes my son, Grant, an apology. And I don't think he's man enough to give it. So I can't stand the MFer. Can't stand them. But that's not why I'm glad they got rid of him. And I was promoting that they get rid of him because he's dead wood on the team. Now, am I rejoicing then they got rid of him? You bet. I'm loving it. I got Schadenfreude. Look it up. I'm loving it. I didn't like Barry Bonds. He was not nice in that clubhouse with the Giants. I never said they should get rid of him. He was a great baseball player. I was able to separate how great he was and how difficult he was. So I never wanted them to get rid of him. It would be insane. This bum, he couldn't play, and he was not nice. So I am rejoicing that they got rid of him, but it's not the reason I wanted them to get rid of him. So I wanted to make that clear. And Iggy, did I do an okay job with that?
I thought you did a great job. You delivered it well. It was mature. I just want to point out for the record, the reason this all happened between me and Juszczyk this year, why he took that really immature sophomoric shot at me, was because I dared to suggest that the Niners should stop using a fullback and put another wide receiver on the field and actually have playmakers. And he somehow, he must have saw it and he didn't like it. And now they did. He's gone and they don't have a fullback on the roster. They might draft one, they might not. They just signed a tight end for a lot of money. Maybe they're going to go to 2 tight ends, but whatever they're going to do, it's not going to involve him or a fullback. And I think that's what pissed him off, because he knew I was right and that the Niners probably agreed.
You know, Iggy, I didn't get into Harvard, but I got into Stanford. And I felt the people at Stanford were pretty smart.
Yeah.
I don't know if this guy could have got into Stanford. I don't know. Look, I've never met him. He made tests very well. Is it possible? I'm not asking. I don't want you to answer. He may be the stupidest person ever to go to Harvard. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
I don't know what his GPA was. What his ACT were. Do you think he could have gotten into UCLA without a scholarship?
He may have. He may be like a math genius or something. You know what I mean? Yeah. But he didn't show wisdom. Genius. He didn't show wisdom. Could I ever tell about the story? I know I'm drifting. Please bear with me. I want to tell you how I got into Stanford. Okay. You know the story, but I don't think these people do. I got a cold today, so it's making me think of it. I went to undergraduate at Lafayette College in Pennsylvania. It was 1,500 guys. There were no women. Now, thank God, there are women. And I knew that I wanted to go to graduate school in English. I wanted to get a master's and a PhD in English. And around Christmas time, I had a really bad cold. It was, Pennsylvania, it was snow and all that. So my mother said, Lowell, I know we want you to go to law school, but you want to go to graduate school in English. Why don't you apply to Stanford? She said, it's in California and it's warm out there. So I said, Mom, I never heard of Stanford. I never heard of it. She said, oh, but believe me, it's a good school. I said, okay. So I applied. Iggy, I thought it was in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. I had no idea about California geography.
You thought it was going to be really warm.
Yeah, I thought it was in LA because I knew about UCLA. I used to see football games at UCLA on TV. So then I got in. I must have been a clerical error. I got in. And it said it was 30 minutes from San Francisco. I thought San Francisco was near Los Angeles.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the point is I got in. And, as a graduate student at Stanford, we used to teach freshman English. And that was how we worked our way through. I taught freshman English for years, and I had some very famous athletes in my class. No one ever came and said, Lowell, you got to give this one a grade. He's a famous football player. He's a famous track and field star. They had to compete like everybody else in the class, and they were smart. They were A students. I don't know what goes on at Harvard, but they were A students. But the kicker of the story, Iggy, I have more colds here than I ever did in Pennsylvania and New York. So that's my story.